All right, folks, we are back. Thanks for watching the break. Whoops, that's the wrong link. There we go. That's the right link. We're in the lobby for Honor Grounds. Be the first map. Losers pick. Beyond that, we're just waiting on Nerchio to ready up. Again, thank you guys for joining us for the sort of impromptu, the bonus, the out of the blue, whatever you want to call it, the Corsair Cup that we ended up throwing today. So far, I would say very good games. The semifinals was 2 mirror matchups, and you kind of go like, bleh, mirror matchups. But I would argue, and I would actually argue, I think both of them were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so. And anyone who doesn't think this way sucks. Just kidding.
Wow, your convictions are really strong.
When I believe in something, I'm very neutral about it.
Well, we said a Korean caster yell at us. I'll get to that in a moment. Let's do these intros first, then I'll go check it. At the bottom right, we've got the Red Zerg player, Nerchio.
Thanks to Bly for hosting us as well as he gets knocked out. In the bottom left is the Blue Terran. He is Liquid uThermal.
Uninstall thermal. Whatever, yeah.
This donation, though, I'm going to give it a crack, alright?
Alright, I'm ready.
Alright.
I'm braced.
Here we go.
Seatbelts on. Click.
Zerzags donated $25. Thanks for the awesome content you provide. Love to get my nick butchered again. What do you expect when you have a name like that?
Yo, it's just the XX on the end of like XXSJ, SSJ Vegeta and stuff. XX. Like I think it's just Warzag.
No.
I think his name's just Warzag.
We're gonna see. Okay. Let's see. I don't know when the last time he donated. That I feel like you would have noticed that, or I would have noticed that. Like one of us would have noticed that, and then corrected each other, and then he wouldn't have said, my name was butchered.
My name. All right. Well, also thank you, Famine55 for the 5 months. 5 down, 7 to go. Somebody is hunting for a Partoof.
More like 5 men.
Oh, Famine. Okay, 5. Yeah, I see. Yeah. I thought you were talking about something in game that I had missed because they were chatting with each other, and I was like, what? But no. I don't know. We got Legulex stats at the wazoo today. You want to hit us up with the ones for uThermal and Nerchio?
Oh. Yes.
I would actually expect this to be kind of back and forth with the first iteration before 2016 being very, very Nerchio favored, if I had to guess. Because uThermal for a long time was just absolutely awful at this matchup. He could not win this matchup to save his life. Then he got pretty good at it.
Keep buying time. Oh, we have a roach one on the way. The loot that's taking a long time to load.
I mean, for Nerchio, I don't imagine this would be the all-in. That you would, when BaseTradeTV says there's like early Ravagers, I don't think are going to work against uThermal most of the time. But he's going to go for it. Oh,
yeah,
if uThermal is going
version.
Hellions. Oh, no.
He's gonna see it, though, I think. Like, he's going to see a lack of a third base and make Cyclones. But, so, 7 days ago they played, and uThermal 3-0 Nerchio.
Wow.
That's the most recent.
What tournament was that?
A Gauntlet one. Then the time they played before that was a 6-4 in favor of Nerchio. That was a map test tournament. Nerchio.
He's not. He knows what's up, and he's not going Cyclones. I'm worried about this.
Yeah, he might think that it's a Ling-based all-in. Like, the third base should be down, or a drone should have at least came over here, right? Like, I'm not 100% certain about that, but I feel like that is the case. And that is kind of the thing for Terrans. A lot of times it's not like perfection with the timings. It's more like, okay, this feels wrong. So now he has Cyclones on the way.
I think the logic here is like if the Hellions got over, there's no defense. He would have killed more drones than the Roaches would have done pressure. But Cyclones are really, really good.
It's one of the reasons as to why Honor Grounds can be okay for this too. Oh, he needed 2 Cyclones.
I mean, the other one will finish up very quickly.
Yeah, that's true. But of course he'll need maybe 2 more, so that's another problem.
He's also not repairing. I thought those SCVs were brought to repair.
Maybe they should have been. So he can't even produce another Cyclone. He doesn't have enough minerals. Trying to build Marines at the very least.
Kill the cocoon.
Very nicely done. 2 Cyclones should be good enough. And Nerchio's gonna go back to mining. Gets a reactor and a supply depot. And makes uThermal panic.
I will say, I thought this was going to go much worse for uThermal, but also, just to go back, Nerchio, this wasn't like the super duper all-in version, right? This wasn't the a laser trying to kill the innovation version.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't. It was not on one base. uThermal also. I think there was something they said about his early scout, so he did automatically make 2 cyclones after the Hellions, and it worked out all right. But I was gonna say, like, it can look okay for the build because walling off honor grounds is kind of difficult. It's a large wall off, but that didn't really affect the game at all. There's no Ling follow up, which could have been the scarier part. So game goes on. 3rd CC, double engineering bay. I mean, uThermal isn't gonna be able to do whatever he planned on doing. Like he might have been planning on a starport. He might have been planning on an armory. Instead, he just chooses to go for a 3rd CC. So that messes him up a little bit. But I would put him in a good position. I'm not sure what Nerchio's gonna do. Still, of course, on 2 bases. uThermal is finally gonna see something kill his SEV. That took a long time to get out of there. There was a lot of scouting for uThermal, and a Zerg on 2 bases. You're usually guessing a Spire. If you already saw Roaches, you might be thinking a Nidus Worm. It's neither so far, though. It is just a later 3rd base.
Swagnerd was just asking in chat if there's a way to kill himself, and I think that's what the intention with the bits was. So unfortunately, you healed yourself, and now you're gonna live forever, you fool. 1,000 years curse upon you and your family. Never shall you taste the sweet embrace of death. Until, well, now, never mind. JK, Nervat killed you. It was like you're the vampire. It's like immortality, but like an asterisk, because things like sunlight and wood can kill you.
I'm not the vampire. You are.
Lock on doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does kill the overseer.
Yeah. Starport on the way. Upgrades. I mean, Nerchio, like the later expand for Zerg player looks really bad. Like, oh, this was supposed to be at 3 bases at all times, which, yeah, kind of true, but it's not the worst thing in the world. 50 drones is something sustainable, and because he's going into Roach, Ravager, and Infester, his units are more about the whole, like, fungling and not dying, because spells are the way to go anyways, so he'll actually be able to bump back up here.
Oh, Stim.
In the economy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, he
okay.
could have repaired that if he immediately reacted, but, I mean, that was what you don't expect it.
This just went from being manageable to perhaps almost impossible to recover from. I think that it's going to be hard enough to take on the amount of units that Nerchio has on the front lines, but Nerchio's follow-up to this, like, he is so good with this style, Roaches, Ravagers, and Infestors.
No. Yeah. Yeah, the follow-up is still very powerful.
Yo, what's cool, I really like, he has been taking a lot of, I think, dedication to focus down the reactors and cut out production. Because, like, you're not going to kill a barracks anytime soon, but a reactor goes down quickly, and if you're dealing with, like, 2 Marines at a time instead of 4, that's insanely different.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot to take. 16 SCVs also died. Production, stim timing, that was a lot of damage. And with the fungals already being prepared... Oh, they're not actually. If you had infestors already, then they really would not be worth dropping, because you don't have sim, and you would get fungled. But that's the one thing going for uThermal, is that he could still get stimless drops into Nerchio's bases and do some damage. But he has to hold on still, and I'm not sure he can. I mean, he doesn't just not have stim, he doesn't have combat shields either. So this is looking like maybe game.
I mean, Nerchio's enjoying a worker lead and a 4th base coming up behind this, whereas uThermal's losing all of his workers and his 3rd's floating. There's just so much going wrong for him right now.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things went wrong for sure. Nerchio taking that earlier hit, being on 2 bases for so long, he just attacked at a really good time there, right before stim, right before production really kicked in, before medevacs had popped out. It was such a good time to attack, and it is really paid off. I mean, even if he hadn't gotten stim, I still think he would have had a lot of control over the game. And that still would have led to him recovering. And again, fungals being as good as they are, I believe in him recovering most games with fungals. But he just puts himself in a, like, I'm not sure he could lose his position. uThermal is not going to go for any drops. He's seen the infestors. All he can do is just turtle and get the 2-2 with tanks.
Yeah, this is without a doubt a winning position to be in. But for Nerchio, I mean, like, because it is tanks, and because it's uThermal, you can't really... You can throw it, is what I'm getting at. And uThermal's a scary player to throw against, because if he gets an opening, he'll take care of it. But unfortunately, I think right now all uThermal can do is just hold up and wait to die. Stim's finishing here.
Are on their way to dying. He had so many rallied across the map. So many.
The high ground vision.
Yeah, baiting the Marines,
clearly. That was actually clever. He's been struggling getting to the mineral lines because the SCVs get pulled away and the tanks are set up. By fungling them, guaranteeing kills, killing mules even on top of that, like, nice moves out of Nerchio.
Oh, uThermal finally gets to stim and combat shields. Alright. Doom drops in the main base.
I want to know if uThermal recognizes that, though, or if that just looks like a misrally from a careless player who's winning the game.
It looks like a misrally. In fact, I still want to believe it was, and he just took advantage of it with speed finishing up.
Maybe. I think Nerchio's a bit smarter than that, personally. But either way, taking advantage or pre-planned, it's still going to get some damage done. In fact, the command center is going to have to lift, which is horrible, frankly. I like this, though. He knows he can't actually kill the command center, so he picks off the buildings that he can kill. It's clever.
So it doesn't kill much of the army. Totally deflects uThermal's drop. That was a lurker? No. What the hell was that? I guess it's just the Overlord's hair. Your stupid comb-overs. Anyways.
Stack defense.
Okay, yeah.
GG.
Tap out.
Alright, Nerchio takes game 1 here in the finals. Not exactly a devastating game, but it became very one-sided very quickly. I think that... we'll see. Maybe uThermal does as get a bit cheesy. Not want to play Nerchio in the macro game. I think, because I will say this, I think uThermal's capability to micro and play around something like a 3 racks is good enough and may comparably be better than having to deal with Nerchio's late game. Because Nerchio, if he gets to macro, dude is scary. Straight up scary.
Yeah, I think uThermal's in a tough spot. I really hope he doesn't make me choose the map.
Yeah, uThermal will sometimes get to this point where he's like, screw it, you pick. I don't want to... It's kind of almost like I don't want to play anymore is what I get from that, you know? But hopefully he'll pick. He's taking a moment to think about it. So we'll go to commercial break, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, folks, we're back and hopping into game. It's map number 2 in the best of 5 grand finals. It took a little bit to get the map choice, but perhaps thinking long and hard about it wasn't this guy's choice. In the top right, the Red Zerg player up 1-0 in this best of 5. It's Nerchio.
The bottom left is the Blue Terran. He is liquid uThermal.
Now again, there's $60 on the line for first place, 20 for second. Not the craziest cash prize of all time, but this will determine one of these two possibly getting into the monthly finals. I think uThermal, who in the monthly finals is worth like $400 too, by the way, but uThermal has already qualified. He's set. He doesn't need to win this. He's doing this for the cash, if anything. Nerchio, however, didn't actually play any cups this month, so he has no points on that ranking list. If he wins this, he's in, but if he doesn't, he's not.
Nerchio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, just to note in chat, so I'm saying Reef can beat anybody in a 1v1. I will say I feel I could, but this is more like the infinite numbers of monkeys on the infinite numbers of keyboards or typewriters would eventually, through random selection, type Shakespeare's plays. Like, I feel like it's that kind of scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not as extreme as that, though.
Okay,
but it's extreme, same lines, sure.
If I know who I'm playing against and I can have some time to try and tailor something, maybe, yeah. But for the most part, I like to play silly. And I think what works on ladder for me is because I don't do builds correctly. People scout me and they're like, what's he doing? So they don't... It's not that like, oh, he's playing so well I can't play around him. They're like, is this guy drunk? He's drunk in boxing. Yeah,
actually. Yeah. I would agree. So... Anyway, MMA's coming out of Army soon. Speaking of him.
I hope he's going to StarCraft 2 and not back to Brood War like everyone else has.
He was never really into Brood War, so
good.
I would imagine that he would not go to Brood War. Like Hyun was a Brood War pro gamer, so it made sense that he went back. But
like for me, the thing is, I try not to think about a lot of the folks in the army. Like Golden. If I had thought about Golden being in the army, because I missed Golden like every day he was in the army, if we're gonna be truthful. But if I thought about it every day, it would feel like forever until he comes out. Yeah, like name me a player who had as much personality as Golden. I mean, honestly, I dare you, right? Like, he was a very unique. I would argue Parting is up there, but I think Golden actually goes a little bit above and beyond Parting.
Wow. I get your feeling, and I'm not trying to deny your feelings about the guy, but I actually did not pin him as that.
Well, I don't know. Like, have you seen his stream? Like, he does so much stuff.
Yeah.
Parting is just a goofy, loud dude. Golden does bits, and I think and I don't mean like Twitch bits. I mean like little acting bits. So that's why I think it doesn't matter. The point is though, like there's some very unique folks out there, and MMA is another one of them. Where I've not tried to think about his army servers, but I tell you guys, I cannot wait for him to come back. I hope he does. I really truly hope he does.
Yeah. Thank you to Dalix 85 for the Twitch Prime sub 2 months in a row. Got a 1-1-1 versus a pretty typical 3-base Nerchio here. Not too much to talk about, but yeah, like I understand your feelings. I said like it doesn't like I'm trying to like argue with you, but for me it's like he was like the first guy I interviewed at like my first like big girl event, Red Bull New York, and it was a special place in my heart. But I never really was a big fan of him. Like, look, to be honest.
Oh wait, are you talking about Golden again?
Yeah, about Golden. But MMA, like I was a big fan of MMA. Obviously, I was a fan of Slayers. He did well after Slayers. And he just had like a champion personality.
That's true.
That's what I missed.
Well,
plus he thought I was. What do you think I was?
Chic. But I don't want to get trapped into the the thing is, I want to be clear about this too. I'm not trapped in the past like a lot of folks are with like Day9 and Husky and all that. We've had some really great folks appear in the absence of these dudes. And like for example, well, he never really, I think, truly disappeared. Byun took the spotlight. Huge time. BlizzCon champion, great personality, huge streamer, fun time. Like, so there's been good, certainly in the absence of these guys. But yo, uThermal got 2 queens there. I did not expect that. In fact, that looked like for a moment all the Hellions were about to go down in a blaze of unglory. But as he runs past this, these Hellions are all like one shot from dead, but so are a lot of these drones.
Oh man, definitely undervaluing how much Hellions would be a problem here. Nerchio loses a lot. He's still gonna lose more.
Oh my god, I thought this was gonna be handled. I thought this was gonna be sorted.
But, to be honest, 13 drones and a lot of lost mining time. This is like 30 seconds.
Queens too.
Not bad whatsoever for the Hellion trade. Does it actually affect the long-term game? And I'm gonna guess no, unless there's further damage.
Well, my asterisk there would be like, does this piss Nerchio off though? Nerchio's not the guy to get tilted and broken, but he is someone who, like, when he gets mad, you see him make mistakes for it. So
yeah,
I don't think he's too bothered by it, if we're gonna be honest. But that was certainly a bit surprising, and I don't think either player. I bet uThermal didn't even expect that to go so well.
Yeah, he might have, just because Nerchio moves pretty quickly into roaches and. Zergs do rely a lot on their queens, so he was probably like, if I take out these lings, I think I can kill all these drones, and that was absolutely correct. Took out the lings, and there's nothing else to defend, so pretty good.
Thank you, Beastie, for that host. I hope you had a good time today, man.
Oh yeah, and they get a Palatirian for the Twitch Prime sub. Paladin Tyrion? Tyrion Lannister?
Be the shortest, holiest.
Wow, rude. So. Yeah, you're correct about that. Sometimes he does, like, it feels like he even sometimes gets more aggressive because he took damage early on, where usually he's a very defensive player. Well, not usually. Sometimes he can be. 50-50.
I thought you were, like, talking about the Tyrion thing still. It's like, yeah, he would be the shortest. You're right, Rifkin. I agree with that.
Anyways, but on the other hand, like, what I was talking about, like, why that might not matter in the long term is because Stim wasn't exactly following this up super quickly. He went for a 3rd base. He had gone for Ravens, supposed to more Medivacs initially too, a Viking as well. Like, there's a lot of things that were in the middle of that attack and Nerchio having to defend again. And during that time, Nerchio will recognize it and utilize it. Like, he'll drone really hard. He'll fix all his macro mistakes. And he'll be good to go for the next attack, which is kind of almost happened here. Like, he's up to 65 drones, he's on to his Roachwarren. He actually had a Spire before Roachwarren, though, and he's getting a second Roachwarren, so this might be more to your point. Like, you might have gotten a little bit tilted, and Ravens have been making a very big splash on Abyssal and Proxima. So I'm imagining these mutas are also something to do with that, but they look really weird.
Maybe it's
Oh, you went alien again. Fix that. Yeah, recall.
Take me to your leader. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is extreme, guys. It seems really exclusive to Skype. So
it's not fixed.
Okay, maybe it's happening now. Let's go ahead.
Oh, iCast? Oh, okay. So, hey, I guess we don't know if that's going to stream or not yet. So, all right. What happened? Mutas attacked the mineral lines, I guess, and that's what's killed so many SCVs. They really weren't that many mutas, and they weren't Nerchio's long-term plan. And they're going to die here, in fact, running over a lot of Marines. All of them die. But I would say they already did what they wanted to. They've cleaned up the medevacs. They didn't clean up the Raven, which is kind of funny, but still. They got a lot of SCVs, and they didn't cost him anything because he added 800, 900 minerals and gas into that. That didn't lose him a base or a third or anything like that. So I would say mission accomplished. They died with dignity, and this last one might just get that Raven. So we'll see. Baneliness is on the way. We actually have Nerchio swapping a lot between tech, and I am kind of confused. Talking about drunken boxing earlier, and I kind of feel like that's what Nerchio is doing here. He's not actually setting his sights on one composition necessarily. I really thought he was going to go for purely Roach Infester, but he made the double Roach War, and he still doesn't have Roach speed. His Infestors aren't out. He takes a fight that maybe was a little bit too soon. There's only one tank, though, so I guess it's okay. And uThermals have combat shields. Oof, that was delayed. All right, so yeah, Nerchio is probably fine for the defense here, but I'm just wondering what is causing so many fluctuations in his tech structures. He's a lot smoother than this. Gonna go for the break. Ravagers first. It was a bit of a mistake, but there isn't enough units to take advantage of that, so Nerchio deals with it fine, no problem. There's a couple of drones off to the right side. He has been cut down below 60, so he's gonna want to get back up to, yeah, basically almost a 70 with 11 more drones on the way. Upgrades are going to be behind that of uThermal. uThermal was just really missing the combat shield. And uThermal, I mean... Oh, God. Oh, God, I hear it. Okay, well, now we know. Oh, yeah. Alien or Mr. Destructive, either one. So... Fourth base now on the way as well for uThermal. He's gonna be playing to the late game, but I still I could not Nerchio and Snoot, really, the two top Zergs that show themselves repeatedly in tournaments anyways. I guess there's some arguments to be made for other Zergs, but the guys that we see all the time, they've really cut their build variety down quite a bit. And you can usually call what's gonna happen past like 8 minutes. I can't. Nerchio is gone from mutas and banelings to roaches and infestors, back to banelings with speed, back to mutas, back to... I don't even know. I wouldn't be surprised if he also got a melee upgrade after this one, just because he's getting almost everything. The kitchen sink build, I suppose. The one thing he has not gone to, though, is that hive, despite having the infestation pit. And he actually has still not gone for infestors. I keep on mentioning that like he's going to have them, and he never does. So that means the corrosive biles might not be as effective. And with uThermal having gone double tanks pretty early, this could be really quite difficult to break. I can hear you, but you're using like a phone or something? Oh, okay, then it sounds like you're using a phone. You're very quiet and hollow. Mutas are going to thwart the drops. I guess, so the weird thing about the mutas is not that they're here at all, it's that the time they came was quite early. I'll get into that after this, though. Trying to break in here, the banelings aren't exactly getting the best hits ever, and all the roaches are dead. The Ravagers will go down very quickly after that, but he might have enough Ravagers to break through this anyways. Marines get caught in corrosive biles, same with the tanks. And Nerchio does push this back. He has 4 bases, he has a bank, so that pushback seems to be good enough. But the mutas were pulled too, so the medevac drop comes back into the main base. While uThermal also goes maybe to the fort. He doesn't really have a clear path to the 4th, though, and that's like one of his biggest problems, is that he kind of gets stalled out here between the 3rd and the 4th, thinking, I can't over-dedicate, especially because, like me, he's probably wondering where the hell the infestors are. You've seen Roaches and Ravages for a very long time, and it's Nerchio, they gotta be somewhere. Even though the missile turrets, I don't think these are for the mutas, although they have been obnoxious. I think it's because you think they're spirit infestors. Yeah, that's fine now.
Okay, I'm assuming it's fine for stream too. I agree with the infestor point, but the sensor towers will make me go WTF with his front lines. That's such an expensive building to almost give away out there.
Nerchio is going to once again break this just barely with only Ravagers really left over, but uThermal, I mean, he has for bases, he is still taking big cuts in supply overall, just doesn't have as many drones or workers. So he's just pushed back entirely. Finally, we see an infestor on the way. And there is that melee upgrade I was talking about, because everything's coming along anyways. Why not?
Oh, he's a little bit saturated.
A little bit oversaturated, yeah. I guess he did get a hive, but still no Ultralisk cavern. Eventually he'll get to it. General glance first.
Side note, holy crap, trying to observe and band-aid that on the fly is about the most stressful multitasking I've done in a long time.
Yeah, that was funny. Like the chat's response.
I know, it was like Mr. Distracto like crazy. I don't know, like, what caused that though? I thought I had solved the solution last time we had discussed it, but I guess not. Look into it more later. Maybe it's a driver thing. Drop over here does get caught, but man, it's not going down. 3 armor means these lings are not touching these Marines for Jack squat.
Yeah, but spells will.
Yeah, Corsair Gear fixed damage.
That hatchery just totally died. There's no chance. Single tanks being quite annoying.
Bailey's coming to save this. Otherwise, all those Ravagers would have actually died to that small amount of Marines left over.
Yeah, a little bit scary. Nerchio's still holding pretty strong. Like these keep on looking like they're very, very close endgame battles, and usually when it gets to smaller numbers, bio, especially with upgrades, is just like boss mode. But Nerchio has so far had just enough reinforcements and enough control, enough good corrosive biles to hold on. But the game is still going on. uThermal again on 4 bases, could probably get to a 5th with his main to that gold.
I think he's cursed about a lot of his own bailings in that fight. I mean, they would have gone down anyways, but it's a little bit awkward. Quite expensive.
That's what I always read.
The enchilada? Knuckles the enchilada. How is there not like a fast food truck out there? Because fast food, right? Sonic the Hedgehog, Knuckles with like...
Oh, there has to be. Oh, come on.
I mean, I know there's like a Sonic restaurant, right? That was the biggest letdown of all time. Learning there's a Sonic restaurant, going there, and there's nothing to do with the game that you've been playing your whole childhood. Well,
it's supposed to be like you eat in your car, right? We're thinking of the same restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of fast, even faster.
Yeah, but there's no like blue milkshake, the like Tails combo, or attack for the backside's a really good combo though for Nerchio. Completely catches the tanks off guard, but I think the bio from uThermal is still too good. His upgrades have just been doing so well this game. Hell, even Liberators help chase off the mutas, and Nerchio's bleeding out. This is a game where you brought up the infestors many times. I want to redress that because for me, it's not Ravagers and Roaches that make Nerchio a good player. It's the combination of those with Fungals. So taps out, no GG, and uThermal ties up the series 1-1.
Odd game from Nerchio. It really looked like that earlier Hellion just messed him up. Even though I thought he had time to recover. Oh well.
Well, that'll be Nerchio's pick now as we go to game 3, which also guarantees a total of 4 maps for the finals, which is nice. Be very happy if this went ace styles, but we'll see where it gets to. Anyways, the big thing I'm worried about is, and I guess I don't know that this will happen with my new PC. This is on the Corsair 1 now, right? Great computer, good quality, etc. I don't have a capture card yet, so I'm not trying like the 2 PC setup for streaming, but the concern is on my old PC, if I ever had to unplug any of the important USBs, so for example webcam or audio cables and stuff like that, during a cast it would actually freeze everything. Or sometimes XSplit would just crash from doing it. So I had to try fixing that without unplugging the actual USB. So I'm like sitting there contemplating like, how do you do this? Like, because a simple unplug and replug would obviously fix it like 9 times out of 10. But I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't actually even break on the new PC. because the other one's like 4 years old. So I ended up just trying to reset a lot of settings through sound options, and it looks like it worked, but only after doing it like the 5th time. Because you guys couldn't hear me. I had myself muted at the stream, but I'm yelling at the time. I'm like, can you hear me? Test? Hello?
And I couldn't. Not really.
Yeah. But hey, shrug. If it's working, it's working. I'm not going to mess with it. We're good to go whenever they are. The map selected was Abyssal Reef. I am sad that we don't have like a GSL version on not Korea, because that version is so much nicer to look at.
It is. They should add it. They should just implement it entirely.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yes.
They'll change everything else about a map, except what makes it better. Haha! It's a comment towards the new map pool. You get it? You get it?
Yes, I get it.
Thanks.
In fact, your comments followed one after another, like they were in sequence. A sequencer joke, if you will.
That's a new map. You guys didn't get it. Ah.
All right, welcome back to the Corsair Cup Grand Finals. It's a best of 5. Continuing on here, it's tied up 1-1, and in the top left, it's going to be our blue Zerg player, matching the map colors. It's Nerchio.
The bottom right is the red Terran. He is liquid uThermal. Nope, liquid like the water map he's in.
Oh my god.
I know. Exactly.
Isn't there another team out there? What are they? It's like the opposite Team Liquid.
Solid
like,
liquid?
No, it's
Wait.
like Team Solid Mid.
Don't we have a mod that's also the opposite of liquid? Solid dub?
Solid is Yo, actually, speaking of TSM, this always reminds me. The first time I ever got to see Flash ever play, period. Like not just like live, but ever see him play. Was IEM. We went to that one Toronto event where it's hosted by the Pure Ponage guy or whatever.
That was the first one.
Well, I wasn't in Brood War. I never saw him play Casper stuff.
I know.
Like
I thought he was in a StarCraft. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Go on.
Maybe we cast him once in a qualifier if they let us. But the point is, like, I didn't really see him. So, like, this is why I remember the event. But also, in part, because the host was not the greatest, if we're going to be honest. And I just remember at one point he had misspoken TCM as TSM. But the second time he did it, we started mocking him in the crowd, cheering TSM, TSM, TSM.
Yep. And he just took that as a big ol' go sign.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I must be doing well. They're lapping it up. They're cheering me up. So he just kept doing it for the whole event. And I'm like, oh, he has no
bullies.
idea.
You're bullies. I wasn't part of this. Nah, it was, he also called uThermal. No, wait, that was someone else.
That was Clutch. Clutch
That was
called
Clutch.
him uThermal, doing like the WCS drawing or something like that.
That was different. Marines coming out here dealing with not only the Overlord, but no potential damage done by these Lings that Nerchio went for the early pull for.
That's killer. I mean, most Terran players open with the Reaper. You just don't expect Marines like this. So to go so brazenly in with the Overlord is actually not a rookie move. It's just is he gonna get the second one? This is devastating.
Oh man, he is. Those Lings are not gonna be able to help. They're chasing the wrong. Oh god. Oh, okay.
Actually,
so he's gonna
this is smart. This is smart. He goes for the one Marine, which I like.
He should leave one Marine to the north.
Yo, is one Marine Gosu enough to take this? Because they did take a little damage from the other Marines.
Yeah.
Oh, the micro is
what's
real.
up?
And 3 of them can chase us down before it's out of range. 4 of them especially. Oh my god.
This prompts the Roachborn, you know? Like, this is just, it's already too much. It's too long. So Roachborn is on the way. He's going to go for that rush again. It did throw uThermal off, but I want to be really clear about this. It threw him off. It wasn't what ended that first game. Let's say that it didn't even do game-ending damage the first time. It was this follow-up attack that did. So, I don't know. Let's see if this can work. By the way, uThermal didn't go for a 2-1-1. He went for a 3-Rax follow-up, which is not really a TvZ build, to be honest. Not unless you open up with 3-Rax Reaper.
Yeah, into another CC even. Like, this is...
What? This is not a build I've seen in TvZ. It's not even, like, the third CC makes it, like, not even a TvP build anymore.
Well, so here's what I like about uThermal, right? Maybe this is just some weird build he had in his back pocket. He's hoping not to show, but doesn't want to lose to Nerchio. On the other hand, maybe it's experimental, because uThermal does experiment in open cups. And if you remember...
Roach's low numbers. Run, boys.
Well, if you remember, actually, this is the point I was going to bring in when it comes to experimenting. When he couldn't beat ultras, and he just was losing to them all the time, always, we saw him bust out like mass ground tanks, and it almost worked. But it was not a build. It was not at the time when tanks were good and actually did damage. Like, it was just weird, but worked.
Yeah. So that's too many roaches. The Marines are actually going to die, which kind of flips this back, and Nerchio taking a bit of an advantage here from going for this build. uThermal ends up saving about 5, but he never pulled the SCVs to the main, and I think that would have been the smarter move. I think this is too many roaches and potential lings to actually depend on Marine production for combat shields or not. But he pulls the SCVs. Lings aren't here yet to help out. No Ravagers quite yet. Finally, that one appears. They're pretty good for that range.
Yeah, he's actually mining off the natural with the Susan. I just want to note that, and that's kind of a there we go, a bit of a mistake. Like if Nerchio were to just let that mine while he slams against the wall, like then he just loses so badly. But the SCVs get into the fight. They're actually tanking some of the hits, so this bio is a bit low, but it's got damage. But the SCVs run out, so maybe it's not going to be enough. The Marauders take out the Roaches, and the Roaches are the buffer for the Ravagers. As big as they are, they're actually not that strong.
I think maybe uThermal thought it was just going to be the Roaches and Ravagers. You know, again, going back to that first game, there wasn't that Speedling follow-up, and that would have been an easy hold. But because of the Lings, because of just the sheer number of units here, no macro, well, only just now macroing, I suppose, back at home, uThermal, I think, just straight up made the wrong choice. He could have defended his main. I'm, like, pretty sure about that. If he had pulled the SCVs and repaired and, you know, whatever. But instead, he took the fights. And I don't, he might be paying for it with the game. I didn't even realize that 3rd CC was still delayed. It finally finishes.
Yeah. The Cyclone is going to help out a ton, even if it's against the Lings, just shooting them down as quick as it can. The Marauders have got some health, but they're unfortunately going to get picked off. That leaves a weird squadron of units left over. I don't know what to make of this, though, because if that 3rd CC was becoming an orbital, not pumping out SCVs right now, you're like, easy peasy, drop those mules back in the game. But that's not where we're at. And in fact, does he know about the oh,
he's figured it out. He's like, where's the command center floated? Yeah,
that's where the mule just
really
dropped.
Sucks. At least he didn't slam that second mule down yet, but that does suck. 22 drone lead here for Nerchio. I mean, it's one of those positions where you do have, you know, you have your starport, you have no stim. Actually, he never bothered. He didn't start stim.
You know what?
Well.
There's the analogy right I got for this one. It's like, you know when you're on the seesaw with a friend, and your friend gets knocked down to the bottom of the seesaw. That's kind of like Nerchio losing the Overlord and the Lings and the stuff earlier. But instead of jumping back up, he just gets off, so it slams uThermal hard down on his ass.
So, okay, gotcha.
Also, I want to address this because this has become way too much as a part of chat. There was no disrespect in us saying like Nerchio doesn't GG. Nerchio like literally never GGs. We've been over this a million times on stream. If it's your first time here, just bring up the issue. It has nothing to do with like respect or our respect of pointing it out for him. It's just he doesn't GG. He just doesn't do it. And when he does, it's usually sarcastic. So it's actually usually like more BM when you do see him GG. And I feel like if you're gonna get upset that casters are pointing it out, that might be a problem. That's not related to the casters.
Yeah.
If we're like, what a fucking asshole, he didn't even type GG, that's different.
Yeah. So he didn't have stim, he didn't have a starport. They're finally finishing, well, the starport's finishing up anyways, but the stims can take a while. And Nerchio has a long time to not worry about being attacked, as long as he scouts the front at all, just to make sure uThermal doesn't do a weird stimless attack. Then he's fine to drone and get upgrades and whatever. So he is ahead in upgrades, finishing up that layer, and control of the game.
Tell you what, it's things for uThermal not having a medevac, all these low health units. Starport's right there. It's so close, but so far he needs every one of those minerals to be going into other things right now.
Yep. Now Nerchio, especially if he doesn't add on an Infestation Pit or Aspire immediately, could die, or lose a lot rather, to these drops, which will have stim and combat shields, even if they're pretty late. And that's what uThermal's got to be hoping for. There is the Infestation Pit immediately, however, and I think this time he will be making Infestors immediately. Last game was just kind of weird with how many tech choices he chose to add on and actually dedicate to. Like, it wasn't just that he got the Spire, he just got the Baneling Nest. He actually made Banelings and centrifugal hooks and mutas, and it was a lot of a lot. this is more streamlined. This is more what we expect from Nerchio, having gone into roaches. He is going for the melee upgrade Roach Infestor, which means his ultimate goal would be to have buff ultras. But that's a whiles off still. Yeah. I've run the way.
I really want to see uThermal get something done with this, and this would be the opportunity, right? Not in terms of like trying to take this base or whatever, but it's just these drops in that transition period where you're banking money, you're not spending a lot of it on army. Maybe there's a chance uThermal gets something done here, but that chance is really small. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up.
Yeah, taking a couple queens can snowball. For now, like with so few infestors and ravagers and no pathogen glands, like that would be most of the anti-air. But uThermal doesn't start cutting that down. He just leaves. Unfortunately, like he knows his position, and he might even be a little more pessimistic than we are, right? Like uThermal has been in similar positions a lot of the time, and he's probably figuring, you know, like there's going to be infestors, there's going to be enough money to remake those queens anyway, and you know, God please there's not a hive, but there is a hive on the way. Like he's probably thinking about all these things, and he can either try and go all in like uThermal would do in the past and just really just go everywhere and try and play Super Saiyan, or he could play calm and defensive and build up slowly, which is kind of what he's doing. It's trapped though by a fungal.
Gets a cancel on the hatchery but doesn't kill the drone, so it goes right back to work.
Yep.
Oh, that's a lot of lings.
Yeah, like uThermal doesn't have an army like that. Even if he saved those 2 medevacs full of units, it wasn't a very convincing army. And really, this is all supposed to be leading up into a pretty powerful 2/2 attack, which I don't think he'll have. And if he doesn't have the 2/2 attack with tanks,
so Deepos never got replaced. There's not even a wall to raise.
Yeah, there's not even a wall to raise. Not doing too much except other than like just deny on the mining time and bothering uThermal. But continuing on, like if he doesn't have any sort of attack here, actually I think he's just gonna tap out. The circle's being attacked. Then he would have had to gone for a 4th base and the very, 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 very long game. This looks like it's too much.
I believe so. The command center is probably gonna go down to Corsair Bowels. It's nice if he's nearby. Might have just burned, even if the tanks. The factory going down is pretty nasty too. There's a mule drop to try and save it. uThermal is holding on for dear life.
No, what are you doing?
Oh no! He went to mine with it. Do you mind? Do you mind?
The mule's just like, I did my job. Don't yell at me.
Beep boop. I'm not an SCV. I can't think my own thoughts.
I'm surprised that uThermal didn't tap out. I really thought the.
He does have an army, so to not tap out, it's not a great army. I didn't say that, but he does have an army, and I feel like uThermal's a guy who can get a lot done with a little. But yeah, even in this situation, that's I think he recognizes what's going on. So GG, Nerchio now takes a 2-1 lead in the series, but it's not over yet, and we are gonna go to a commercial break. We'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Okay, we're back just in time for game number 4. This could be the last one, or maybe it'll swing back one more time and we'll have a game 5. Either way, spawning here in the upper left side, we've got the blue Zerg player. It's going to be Nerchio.
Bottom right is the red Terran. He is liquid uThermal.
It's really weird to me that Nerchio actually won that game, to be honest. And not because of like the Ravager or the scouting or anything like that, but I felt the 2 Overlord supply block combined with the Lings getting shut down, like not even a tilt factor, just uThermal had such a good start to that game.
He did.
But
uThermal probably is kicking himself without he responded. Like he knew he was in a good position.
Yeah. But I think what's really cool though, and this is where I get big respect for Nerchio, I think the second he saw those Marines, you kind of joked like, oh, with the supply block, there goes the Roach Warren. I think the second he saw the Marines, he knew there'd be no scouting and felt safe to go for that build. I'm not going to try and pretend like I know Nerchio inside out, but I think that he's a smart enough guy to recognize like, oh, what's the most abusive thing I can do that wouldn't get scouted? Freaking Roaches and Ravagers.
That is true. And that might have actually been his intention. It might have been his plan all along, too. We wouldn't know, but...
Yeah.
And the response was mostly a joke. I don't think he actually responds that quickly with a Roach Warren. to being a little bit tilted because you Overlord side.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I wasn't trying to be like, zombie cup, you made a stupid call. No, nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that happen in that early game very quickly. And I think Nerchio's just he's a smart enough guy, and he's actually quick enough to adapt, is what my point through that statement.
Yeah. So it looks like uThermal's gonna go for just the Reaper expand. It's too bad that Marine thing really would have, it did work out, and then the follow-up probably would have worked out too had he just responded a little more cautiously instead of trying to be on that brink of defending and you know, as little as possible to get the most benefit from defending. He tried to walk that line, and it really didn't work out.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. The Reaper's kind of hidden, so he wanted the Lings to overcommit, I believe. There's only 2 Lings. There's only so much they can overcommit, you know?
Yeah, let's just chase them down. By the way, I guess to get these out of the way before the openings kick off too much, big thank you to Jono1232 over the 15 months. Good question. Says, do ravens dream of electric sheep? I don't know. Let me go ask my Android friends. Zillion89 for the 15. And I don't remember if we got Gnome Skull or not, but 15 months on him too, saying thanks for the great work, guys. Then, just to be safe, because I don't remember these names either, Papa Mitch for 35, and then Food Over Steroids for 4.
I don't remember seeing Food Over Steroids at all.
That was like a really long first couple games, so thank you guys so much. Sorry that we missed those on the fly.
Ooh, key. Already seen the drones, so suspicious enough. That is a Roachhorn being scouted when that Reaper probably should have died, and should have died there too.
Let's get it to the Queen.
Get the grenade.
Or
get
not.
Get a grenade at least.
Oh,
this is really annoying. Like, he might have actually planned on canceling that Roachhorn at any point, but now he has to really commit with it.
Yeah, and the drones were pulled for so long. That was like 5 or something drones chasing. Now Hellions get up here as well to catch some more of the new ones.
Oh my god.
He's stacked up unintentionally. It's going to cost him some more workers.
This is so good. Like, 2 Hellions, so worth this.
Oh
my god. Oh lordy.
There you go. There you go. That's some cost efficiency, and that's some payback for that last game. I'll tell you what. So that works out really well for uThermal, both on the scouting front and the actual damage front. In fact, he saves that 3rd Hellion, by the way.
No roaches on the way. Only queens. Only a handful of lings. A little bit scary here. Now Nerchio is going for a lair. He did finish that Roachhorn because he kind of had to, if he did want to finish, did want to cancel it. And this could be like Honor Grounds, the slow expand to the 3rd base, just kind of giving up on the idea of an attack. It could be something a little more suspicious. Oh boy.
He doesn't target the low Hellion immediately, so some of these Hellions actually get in with quite a bit of health left on them. But the Lings coming out, this isn't going to be the freebie damage that they got before. In fact, not nearly as worth it. That being said, though, this is still like distraction. It's still like look the other way because Nerchio's not scouting and he's not seeing that there's a Banshee coming.
Right. There's no Spore Crawlers, and while he will have a lair. All right, there's the Spore Crawlers. Okay, so I mean he was gonna have a lair. So an Overseer would have been made, but the Queens would have to respawn, and that would take too long. There would have been drone losses. The Spore Crawler really negates the Banshee almost completely, along with those Queens. So 3rd base is on the way, and it's going to be a slow expand, so kind of an awkward-looking Roach timing, but just uses it to have faster Roach speed. All right, then. And uThermal should be happy with how this game went. There was no follow-up attack that he misread that he's going to die to, so should be even happier.
Go Viking.
Bye, Overseer. Hello, 2nd Overseer.
It's actually gonna still maybe. Oh yeah, well there's the reveal at this point. So even if he saw the starboard, it's no longer guessing because the Banshee already showed her face. Got a couple drone kills, up to a total of 15 so far. Not bad. This Overseer got some weird information though, honestly, with this scout. Like seeing the Cyclone is a bit questionable. Not exactly an overcommitment, but more Hellions were made. And I would say the average Terran game, you're not going to see more than 4 to 6. This is going to be like Hellion 11 through 12.
Oh yeah, it's pretty weird. Sometimes you make extra if you're afraid they're going to counterattack with Speedlings. Sometimes you make extra because you want to do an armory attack with your main attack, but there's no armory, so that's not the plan. Not yet, anyways.
I guess that may have been a bit of a coincidence. I thought he did a last-second like Eva Chamber Wall block as like super sick micro, but it still kept the Hellions out at the end of the day.
Yeah. I would say, like, I really don't think Hellions are worth saving. To be honest, even against lane players, but especially against a Roach player, a known Roach player, just, like, if you see an opportunity, just sacrifice them.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think that their effectiveness falls off, and even if you make the argument, like, oh, you could turn them into Hellbats, then Hellbats are just slow and not good against... Like, you complement them with units that have stim and can run away, the Hellbats don't cut it. But checking into the third, nothing to see there. 2 Banshees in the main, very low and should be picked off pretty quick, one of them.
Yeah, targeted. Second factory being put down very quickly. uThermal is seeming to prefer these faster factories. Faster tank production for more tanks later. Third base is going to be transferred over to Nerchio, already on the way to a hive. That's a 7-minute hive right there. And that is also a changeling. Get it, SCP.
So actually, what's interesting is Nerchio, well, we know and respect and love him to do these like Roach, Ravager, and Fester builds, which he's got. This has been more of like a light part of his plan. And he did, if you guys remember, I want to say like 6 months ago at least, maybe some recent times too, but he's very comfortable playing around fast hives. Like a 7-minute hive for Nerchio like half a year ago, I think is actually really normal. Especially thinking against the games versus people like uThermal and otherwise, who at the time, when Ultras had 8 armor, were unkillable.
Yes, they were. Now, Nerchio seems to be killed basically if he goes for Ultras too late or too soon. And that might sound pretty basic, to be honest, but it just...
Basic casting bit?
Like, it's like sometimes you'll see...
You want some pumpkin spice with that analysis?
Well, sometimes you'll see Zerg players go for an Ultras Cavern early. You'll be like, well, if they die, it's because they went for it early at all.
Yeah.
When for Nerchio, I look at it, I'm like, well, you didn't just go early enough, man. Like, you should have gone even more extreme.
You went too normal.
Yeah, basically.
You gotta do it before it was cool.
So that's kind of the point, really. So like this is pretty damn quick, and it should be out in time for uThermal's push. And the thing is that, well, tanks are actually pretty decent in high numbers against Roaches, Ravagers, and Festers, and Ultras, like all the things combined. Nerchio is really good about getting those burrowed fungals and surrounds and just, you know, taking advantage of a map. So I think uThermal would have liked to attack before Ultras. I don't think he's gonna get the opportunity, especially if Nerchio holds off on this 4th expansion. But he's gonna try and save it instead.
He did kill a base just now, which was nice, though. And he chases off a lot of these units. In fact, the top side's gonna flank and look for those infestors. Snipes one, focus fires not the other, but still trading out really well with the army. And Nerchio, well, he's gonna have no money for Ultras. He's gotta make more army.
If you had just gone for Ultras a minute faster. So, I got your answer. Okay.
So
no,
this I really want to. I want to actually go into that for a minute. What's the point? This random play, whatever. Like, this is what I'm saying with uThermal. The dude is willing to experiment and do strange things, and Nerchio is so good at dealing with the expected that like weird, dumb, extra Hellions and strange pushes, they work, and it apparently this case maybe even piss him off a little bit.
A little. I mean, that, like, the jokes about the Ultras timing aside, he did also, I think, like, he probably shouldn't have attacked that 4th base, or defended that 4th base, right? Like, he didn't have enough army quite yet, haven't gone Ultras so quickly, so that did snowball very quickly.
Yeah. And
uThermal also did this, like, cool thing, too, where he started attacking even before his tanks were ready to go. Like, that was just his bio for so long that it was, like, a bit of an earlier timing. Like,
So, I do want to bring this up, too, because people are super dissecting our talk about Nerchio. My laughing just now, it was not at Nerchio or losing, but it was him just basically reaffirming what we were saying of just like, yeah, uThermal's kind of doing weird stuff. Is that on purpose or accidental or like experimental? But we are going to go to Game 5. We're not going to play an ad break. We're just going to hop into it. It is on Paladino Terminal. Okay, so Game 5. No more matches after this one. All the money, but more importantly, the points on the line for this. I'm actually going to go pull up the points list really quick. I've been saying that I don't think Nerchio's on the list, but I want to go confirm. Yeah, Nerchio's not even on the list. Big part of that just has to do with the fact that he hasn't been participating this month.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually... Darius is doing a great job. He's keeping the tabs up for every season. And Nerchio has... Yeah, in the Season 1 and Season 2, he dominated. It was like... Not even questionable. But I guess more recently, he's just been busy or there's been other things to train for. I don't know. But we haven't seen Nerchio nearly as often. So the king is back, maybe. The king is back, baby? We'll find out as we get into this final match. In the bottom right, he's blue, he's Zerg, he's Nerchio.
In the top left is the red Terran. He is uThermal.
But I feel like... So uThermal... I love players who experiment. We talk about it all the time, right? Like foreigners excel when new games come out and new units are introduced because they're the ones to play around and they don't get caught up in the standard. And I feel like Nerchio just got a bad case of the hashtag Korean there, where like maybe he's just so used to the 4 different ways Terran can play, a 5th one just throws him for a loop.
So what's really like boggling my mind though is that uThermal did a couple of really different things, like the additional Hellions and the almost preemptive strike with his bio. Like, he didn't wait for a real tank push; it was a bio push first.
Yeah,
that wasn't that random of a game. That was not game 3 on Abyssal where you opened with so many Marines and moved across the map. That was a weird game.
Yeah,
that last one was just like pretty normal, but he tried to take advantage of. Nerchio messing up the micro on the Reaper and the Hellions. So,
well, what I think too is, I just had this. Brain is dead, not functioning.
I kind of forgot what I just said, so I can't help you.
No, we're nailing it. You think we did this for a living or something? Well, I can't remember what exactly I was going to get into. The other point that I know I wanted to talk about for uThermal is random play or not, like quote unquote here, right? I think the thing is, when it comes down to both of these players, what I admire most at the time is their ability to adapt, control, react, and micro above all else. It was weird to see Nerchio not adapt. Like, he went for the really fast hive, as you pointed out, and sometimes that's the problem. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe it wasn't that uThermal was playing weird YOLO Hellion styles, but the fact that Nerchio just left himself vulnerable. I said it, and I'll go back to it, like, that's the time to get the kill in. Anytime a player is transitioning to ultras, there's going to be vulnerability. They're either banking minerals or their army's not big as it should be, etc., etc. So I love that uThermal could take advantage of that, regardless of whatever the play around it was.
Yeah, it was really a couple things. It was the early game damage, the little bit of a tilt factor, the Reaper not dying, not being able to do the build that he wanted with the earlier Roach Warren. It was certainly the Ultralisk transition. That is like, it's either like you got to be so early that they can't possibly catch you transitioning, or it's got to be late when you're perfectly safe. Anything in between is just way too dangerous. And uThermal just doing that push. I think like 30 seconds before the game ended, I literally was talking about how uThermal would have loved the push before Ultralisk popped. And I don't think he would have had he waited for like 6 tanks instead of 3, or instead of just pushing with a bio. And of course, lastly, I do also think that Nerchio maybe could have played a bit of a longer game if he had just given up that 4th, which is already canceled anyways. So, of course, a couple of different factors, but I'm still smiling at the way the game went. Roach Warren is once again on the way off of 2 bases, so we'll see what he does with this. I mean, he's gone for the Roach attack, he's gone for the Roach Ling attack, he's gone for the macro out of it. So that's like everything he could possibly do with it, he's done in this series. And so far it is 7 Roaches, and he does have Speedlings, so I'm going to imagine he's going to follow it up with Speedlings. So like the real all-in here. But up against a Hellion Banshee, I actually think it's a terrible build to go for a Roach Ling bust on.
Yeah, Nerchio actually, kind of like last game, he's not actually in the main with his Overlord. He's seen that there's no Marines and there's Hellions on the front line, but he's not poked up to confirm that it's going to be Banshee again. And that may or may not be a problem. Like, Banshee has kind of fallen off, and not because players just wanted to save it for a special occasion. Banshees are just not great most of the time, I would argue.
Yeah, most of the time, but they are excellent Roach defense. So they're going to have a lot of trouble dealing with the Lings, but uThermal just scouted what the deal was. I think he saw how many Roaches there were, so he should be anticipating the Ling follow-up as well. That's where the Hellions got to stay alive for at least a little bit here.
Yeah, and he's done his best to wall off, too, which will help out a ton. Ooh. Oh, wow. Thank you, Rurkar, Bit Boss.
Happy birthday. And Hellions actually, that was really sad. Hellions are getting some nice shots off, not just on the Lings that are trying to reinforce, but also on the Roaches that are held
splash damage
together by the SCVs.
I mean, Hellions don't deal a lot of damage, but when they're dealing not a lot of damage to every single Roach, then suddenly it's a lot of damage. Bit meta with that comment, I know, but only 11 SCVs die isn't so bad considering how much Nerchio had dedicated to this. And 2 orbitals help band-aid that damage really nicely. Now the counterattack ensues and we'll see if Nerchio can hold. Let's not forget, both these Banshees left alive mostly unscathed. Rurikar, I'll give you some love in a second, man, but I gotta see how much damage this does, because this could even this could end the game, frankly, if this gets too out of hand.
He doesn't have a response. Yeah, he has to go back to a Spore Crawler, so he can never really push out preemptively against those Hellions. Banshees go a little bit too deep. That one's very close to dying.
Still, though, this keeps Nerchio back and away from the Hellions. They actually do get engaged on by the Lings. They try this round. Flames cleanse. Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Barely survived there.
But
nicely done. Now these Roaches are free pickings.
Yeah, Banshees are just going to shell away. I mean, the Hellions, unfortunately, are all seriously like one-shot range, right? 10 health on one, 5 on the other. Awkward. But while this goes on, like uThermal, he's got a 3rd CC on the way. He's got another Banshee coming out. And, of course, above all else, his army supply overall is like doubling that of Nerchio's.
Oh, this is starting to snowball. He's finally like really cracked the shell here.
2 of these Hellions are so low, a drone could punch them.
They're not gonna. Banshee's still alive. Was that one repaired or something?
Yeah, maybe he pulled it back. Hey, did he lose any? Oh, he lost one, so maybe it's just the
new one. Just new one then. All right, well, still, it's 2 Banshees, and that's a lot of trouble for Nerchio. In fact, like, to be honest, uThermal doesn't have to, like, even defend around here.
No, I think this legit might be it. Like, the hatchery has nothing. Like, if he moves the Spore Crawler, he just dances around it or even kills it.
I was gonna say uThermal could have just gone to the 3rd base and the exact same thing, but also the natural being open was a possibility. Now goes to that 3rd base. No Spore Crawler, no Spine Crawler. Dead.
Good luck in Austin. Nerchio will fall, and uThermal will be the champion. Congratulations, uThermal. Also, did everything just die? The BitBoss thing fell apart? The stream says 0 viewers. Is the stream on?
Everything's working for me, man.
Okay, well, the BitBoss thing died, which is odd. I'll have to go look into that later. Failed user get. I know. So, I guess whether he intended to be or not, Rurikar is the last BitBoss of the day. Nobody can dethrone him because it fucking broke. So happy birthday, Rurikar. Rurikar, by the way, for those who don't know, he supports just about everybody in StarCraft. So anybody that matters. Grinning, smiling. I'm implying us, but also our friends too. But Rurikar, man, you're not supposed to give other people money on your birthday. You're supposed to give money on your birthday. I thank you for the bits, man. 40,000 bits. That's true. If giving makes you happy, then I thank you kindly, and I hope you have a good birthday. I would sing you the happy birthday song, but I think the better gift is me not singing you the happy birthday song.
It's no longer copyrighted.
Well, that's just, I don't want to make him go deaf on his birthday. But he also subbed for 13 months. XD. Thank you very much, man. I hope you and your wife just have the best day. Thank you so much. 7-year Twitch, 14 months. So, like, 10th of the way? I don't know how math works. I don't know what the point of this random stream. ... Keep it up. Love the stream. Juvia's Locker, 69 for 4 months. Is 4 months already. I know. Where'd the time go? Whoa. But today was a crazy great day for a lot of different reasons. I think that the tournament was really fun. Like, I'm not going to talk about money for a second. I will talk about money in a second, though. But I thought the tournament was a lot of fun. This was obviously not planned. This was the result of a failed tournament this morning that we had to cancel and move. So absolutely ecstatic that this happened and we got good players, good games, etc. But the weird thing was this was like totally. We had the bits go down like crazy. Yeah, Rurikar at the end slamming in like 40,000 bits. We had, I want to say, a good group of 12 people all working together. Like, that was the community effort for me. That was so sick. It wasn't that like people were making it rain like bits one at a time. It's that you had 12 people dead set on killing Mega Man Red. They're like, okay, we can't do it alone. Let's do it together. Death by 1,000 cuts. I'll never forget that, guys. Thank you so much. Ian's 11, thank you for the 28-month resub here at the end of the stream. But I guess we'll wrap this up. We'll bundle up the replays. We'll send them out to the subs. I think So my guess is with this thing breaking and my viewer count showing 0 on XSplit, maybe there's something wrong with Twitch. My guess. So maybe we'll send out the sub replay pack a little bit later today? Question mark. But this will go out just like all the others, guys. Big thank you to Dares as well for adminning today. As always, love having you around, man. You did a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you to the players for coming out to play. Of course, the Corsair Cup, sponsored by Corsair most of the time. This one was sponsored by the subs. But if you want to check out Corsair Gear, or if you want to get really good quality equipment, whether it's RAM, headsets, or otherwise, click the affiliate links down below. It'll help us out a ton, and we'll get a small portion of your purchase. And then Twitch, of course, our other main sponsor. Glad to be working with them. I actually just had dinner with one of the partnership managers the other night. We saw Fast and the Furious. Great movie. 10 out of 10. 5 stars.
Really? Really? Really?
But we also had a great talk about Twitch stuff. And he's always fun. And I love because there's so many facets in my life on the business side, whether we're talking with Blizzard or other sponsors, where I don't always feel heard. But people I talk to at Twitch always make me feel like I've been heard. So it feels good working with them, guys. So consider subscribing to the channel if you want to support that. The new sub system, I don't know when it's rolling out. Even in the super secret detailed email that we got, there was like no information on when they're looking to do it. But Twitch just put a tweet out saying things are broken. So it's a good thing the stream's ending here because we might just run into problems if it ran any later. So let's end this. ZombieGrub, any shoutouts before we go?
Follow me on Twitter at CG Gaming, Twitch ZombieGrub, and YouTube at ZombieGrub, and Patreon. It's also ZombieGrub. Yeah, and just to address it one last time before the stream's over, guys, we have sub-only VODs back on. This was how it's been for the longest time. We took it off for a while because we fell behind on YouTube, but we were caught back up on YouTube, so youtube.com/BaseTradeTV. Later tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on your point of view, Maynard and Zeph will be back on the channel. They'll be casting the VSL Grand Finals, as well as the group drawing for the Team League that's going to follow. All the StarCraft badness for 4 months is whoop, whoop, poop, poop. So glad you got that one.
I didn't read. I just did what it did. But yeah, we're all done. So Rurikar, if you're here, have a happy fucking birthday, dude. I love you, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, you know what? No, we're coming back. T Campbell 88, I got you. Turn that camera back on, or give me the camera.
No.
T Campbell 88 says, got my Rainbow Partooth badge yesterday during the co-op stream, but got no shout out. We were trying really hard, okay, if that wasn't obvious. After an hour and a half of dying, and then like the second session dying a bunch, we were trying really hard. I would like to sincerely apologize, though, and not make mistakes. Dude, 2 years is a long fucking time. Thank you for subbing, getting your Rainbow Partooth badge. Now we're actually out. Peace.